Before we start this episode, I just want to say a big thank you to Jared for coming onto the show. He was an awesome guest, and I'm sure our listeners are going to love this episode. Please go over to Amazon and purchase Jared's new book, The Lamb Prophecy. The link is in the description below. And as always, thank you all for listening. Enjoy. Hello, and welcome to Out of Our Box. I'm Ricky, and I'm here with my co-host and very good friend, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, man. You?
Yeah, really good, man. And today we have an incredibly special guest joining us. We're diving into the world of literature and prophecy. We're thrilled to welcome Gerard Wood to the show. Gerard is a well-travelled author, having explored over 50 countries and gathered a wealth of experience. He has penned several thought-provoking books, and today we're here to discuss his latest work, The Lamb Prophecy. Gerard, thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction. I love that. That was good. Made me feel big and stuff. My ego inflated. That was rad. Thank you.
You're very welcome, man. Yeah, it's great to have you with us. And yeah, I think we should just jump straight into it, don't you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Right. Yeah, man. Your latest book, The Lamb Prophecy. Can you tell us a bit about the inspiration behind the book and what readers can expect?
Sure. Well, one of my biggest fascinations is like religious stuff, but also like the kind of mythology behind religion and occult stuff and mysticism and all that kind of weird ass shit. I'm not a religious person necessarily, but I kind of enjoy the comparative side of things. So I was reading a lot of religious material, a lot of different sacred scripture and all that. I even tried to write some myself, as maybe we'll get into at some point, but no one really cares. It's a really difficult sell. So I was like, I kind of got the idea because I keep like coming across these really cool theories and like coming up with like weird ideas of my own. Not things I necessarily believe them, but I was like, more people should hear about these kind of really strange, specific things that kind of happen in different theologies. So I just had the idea to kind of fictionalize it. So I just came up with this kind of really long-winded tale to kind of piece together a really strange side of different religions and yeah, and probably just piss off everyone as I did.
Awesome, man. It's great to piss everyone off.
Yeah.
That's a very good start.
Easy to do with religion, I think.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to try very hard.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Well, I feel like with a lot of things, you don't have to try very hard to annoy someone now.
No. These days it's pretty easy. Yeah, we've probably really pissed off tons of people in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Obviously, we've been friends for a while.
Long time. Long time.
And I did actually listen to the audio first chapter in preparation for today. And,
cheers, man.
Yeah, it sounds great, and I'll definitely be listening to the rest of it. And it's like, yeah, you touching on a different point of view with this book seems like a good idea, trying to branch out there, do some different things.
For sure. No, absolutely. I feel like, yeah, it's kind of a bit of a dangerous one, as we've kind of said, but I kind of thought to kind of make this leading woman, she's a heavy Christian. So it was kind of like, it just seemed like a very easy entry point rather than like write something that was really like esoteric and strange and go into the depths of like ancient Mexican or some kind of like Buddhist thing. I just thought goes really straight and narrow and like it's a Christian story based in London. I mean, I wouldn't call it a Christian story. But the protagonist is Christian who lives in London. So it's very much it just seemed like a very easy entry point. I knew there was a market there, to kind of draw people in with that kind of promise. But again, it kind of does. I think there will come a point where people will read it thinking it's one thing, and then maybe at some point get like a little bit upset.
You think with being a Christian story as well, like, and the book being in English, it should be easier to catch a kind of common vibe, you would think, maybe.
Yes, that was kind of my thinking a bit, yeah, because I do want to like write other stuff that kind of branches out into different theologies and all that, but this just seemed like a really nice, easy way in. And I think it also because like growing up, I think I could speak for most people growing up in the West, Christianity is kind of the predominant religion, and
Yeah.
London being like such a huge monumental capital of the world kind of thing, it just kind of seemed like a very easy entry point to fool people into purchasing the book. Just lull them into a false sense of comfort.
Brilliant. So it's as obviously you're a male author. Was there any thought behind writing the book in a female perspective?
Yeah, that was difficult. But the thing is, it just kind of originally it was actually going to be a male perspective when I started writing it. But then the cool thing about a female perspective and a religious perspective is that the all especially the kind of Jewish and Christian and Islamic religions have been very oppressive to that gender. So it just kind of opened a whole new world of like hurt, basically, of like how I can really make this person's life even more difficult just by being a female. So once I came up with that, once I kind of clicked that this could be a female, it was like, wow, just so many other opportunities for conflict and things she would have to overcome just kind of just came into my head. So it was yeah, but obviously it is kind of difficult. I think I did a good job, but luckily my editor, who is also my sister, but this is a full-time job, she is an editor, so I paid her full price to make sure she did a good job. But she was, yeah, you got to do it, man. No favors. But so she was, she like there was, I think I did a pretty good job. There were points in time when she was like, I'm not too sure about this, and I was like, you are the female voice of reason. I'll definitely not do that then. So I think that was kind of cool to have this filtering system through her.
I was going to ask that if you bounced any of the ideas off it, then obviously that's great having someone who's actively editing the book to give a perspective on it.
She's fantastic. She really is good. I mean, she's a lot of things, but she's like very kind of she's what's the right word? Like she's very liberal and very she's very like sensitive to like different demographics. So sometimes she goes really far. She's like, "Don't do that." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do that." So it gets kind of hectic. We try to find a balance, but she's like super good at I mean, she's really good at hacking. I guess what an editor does is like makes a book much smaller because as an author you tend to waffle and they just go cut out all these paragraphs and it's much better. And you go, actually, that makes a lot of sense. As much as it hurts, you got to just take it.
How was it for you getting into female perspective? Was it a hard task or was it?
Yeah. What I did was I just read a bunch of books actually. There was like The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood is very famous. I read Sylvia Plath's what is the jar one? It's completely slipped my mind. But there was a couple of books like that which had a female protagonist, often quite traumatic and dystopian worlds. And so I read that while I wrote the first draft. So that probably helped a lot, to be honest. Yeah. But we'll see. Maybe I failed completely. Who knows? Yeah. I'm yet to have anyone say anything, but we'll see.
I'm sure you didn't. Was it? Would you ever worried about writing about religious beliefs or the religious aspect of the world?
Not for this book. As I say, I'm probably going to do some stuff that might be a little more hectic. But I mean, the one thing I think which is cool about Christianity is that like they really aren't bothered. I mean, look what South Park does. The way South Park does stuff like that, and like the Christians just take it, man. They just like they just go, "Hey, don't do that, man." It's like turn the other cheek. They're gonna super ethos of like just like being like, "Hey, man, don't do that." But it's like it doesn't really become too much of a problem. Maybe certain areas in the world, but you can get away with a lot with that religion. Obviously, there's a lot of other religions, and in this book, I do cover lots of other mythologies as it goes on, but you just have to be careful with which ones you push which buttons.
Yeah, especially with tensions the way that they are in the world right now.
Yeah, no, well, this is the thing. Yeah, this is the thing. So these are somewhat of concerns.
I'm sure everyone will react very normally on the internet.
Oh no, of course, yeah. As always, nothing but just polite friendliness and understanding is what the internet's all about.
It is. Obviously, your book alludes to a lot of conspiracy theories and
yes,
stuff around that. Is it something you're into yourself as a podcast and Us, we do. We do, and in our own lives, we do like talking about conspiracy theories, and we do have fun with them.
Yes,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your guys' one on Stonehenge. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really fair. I like the way you guys covered all of it. It wasn't you weren't pushing an agenda. You said, "Hey, look,
Yeah.
it could be a pulley system. It could be, is it aliens?" Like you didn't try and nail one or the other. You were like, these are the theories. I think that's the way we need to approach these things, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And that's how I've always been. I think it kind of does tie to this, is because I just remember during COVID, it was like there was just a million and one different ideas of what it could be and it couldn't be, and like I didn't know what to believe. I mean, I was like, yeah, maybe you're right, maybe you're right. I have no idea. So I think that's kind of I think that's where a lot of my interest came in, especially for this book, because the ideas kind of came around 2020 when all that was going on, and it was just this kind of mad time of like, what is like it was like really unknown of
Yeah.
what the truth was and what was going to happen. I'm actually quite disappointed with what happened. It was barely anything. I was told it was going to be
Yeah.
the end of the world, man.
Yep.
Everything just went back to normal. But yeah, so that did, I think that did kind of play into that. But yeah, for me, I tend to just stay on the fence with these things because by not making a statement, you can never be wrong. So I've
Yeah.
never been wrong. I've never been wrong
Yeah.
yet.
We see. Well, me personally, I can probably speak for Aaron as well. We see it exactly the same way. As in, sometimes sitting on
Yeah,
the fence is good, man. It's good.
for sure. You can see everything from the fence. As soon as you jump over one side or the other, you can't see the other side so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to
Well,
keep eyes open on both sides. Yeah.
people aren't very, or as much as they should be, like they aren't very open with you finding out new evidence and then changing your opinion. You're like, no, but you said that before. It's like, yeah, well, I was wrong. It's like,
I know, I
it's like
know,
Yeah.
it's okay if you find out that you was wrong and say you were wrong. You
I
can't just
know.
stick
The
with
problem
something
is,
you even know.
yeah, some people don't do that though. Hey, they just kind of knuckle down. They go,
Yeah.
no, I said something else, and remember I said that thing, and you're like, no, you didn't. Like you're totally changing your story. Like years down the line, they're like, I told you, I told you. You didn't say that. You said a completely different thing. A lot of that I've found. Yeah, yeah. It's good to be able to laugh about it. I think that's the only way through.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're going to change your mind, just say you're wrong. That's it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Simple.
That's the thing. People are
Break
so
out.
afraid to do that. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we need. It's like it's cool to have opinions, but like they need to be fluid enough to be like, yeah, I was wrong. Like that's and when someone says that, I think it's the coolest thing ever, man. I have so much respect for people who do that.
Yeah, yeah.
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 It's
Same.
like that meme. It's like I knew I was wrong an hour ago, but I'm just doing it to piss you off now.
That's so funny. I think that's also fine. That's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
totally fine. If you want to go on that route, I totally respect that 100%.
That is as well. And yeah. You said yourself, obviously, at the beginning, you're not religious, but you said reading lots of religious scripture and stuff like that, and writing religious scripture. What prompted you to write religious scripture, and what kind of things did you write?
That's a great question. And also a very difficult question. This is the kind
Okay.
of question that happens when like someone Googles me, and it happens sometimes when I go on a Tinder date, and then someone goes, "Hey, so I heard you wrote some religious scripture," and it's like, "Oh God, now I have to somehow sum this thing up." But yeah, it was basically just because of all my fascination with religion. One of the main things was finding like common denominators, and so that's what I eventually kind of did find a few things that seemed like kind of covered all of them. Um, I don't know if you guys want to go into it. It might just take a bit too long. But the point is, there is this kind of this. Okay, well, just to
Yeah,
really summarize it,
yeah.
there's this kind of belief which is really ancient. It goes back to Hindu originally, but even ancient Greeks saw this a thing called pantheism, which, if you know or not, is about the entire universe as a collective is actually a singular organism, and all the scriptures kind of talk, that's what God is, but they kind of personify it, and like this, and this one says it's this, and this one says it's that, but on its basic fundamental root is that everything is kind of just a part of this overall gigantic system, like whether it's conscious or whether it's what it's, it's that's what it's this collective basically, which is a very ancient idea. And so my contribution to that was that what if that's the case, what is the point of that? And what I discovered was kind of there's always this progression, like there's always the universe expanding, everything's always evolving, it seems everything's always moving forward. And if that's the case, what do we as individuals do? And I came to the conclusion and wrote an entire book about how the best thing you can do is you need to contribute like data to this thing by like evolutionary data, by living a life that's as unique as possible. So it's just about finding what you love and kind of like really pushing towards that in a way that's never been done before. So that's kind of the summary of it. And by doing that, you're contributing like information to the greater evolutionary data that's never happened, you know. So it's just trying to have like basically have the most unique, awesome life. I kind of it's kind of just a big excuse for me to do whatever the fuck I want and travel and yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what it is.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, but there you go. Follow my religion. I got you covered, man. You can even just say it's a
Yeah.
religious thing. Why are you doing that? Nah, it's my religion, bro.
Did you look into the Satanist values? Because that sounds kind of similar to that, where it's like be
Yeah,
a good person and like try
yeah.
and do the best that you can.
I did read the Satanic Bible, yeah, the Levian one, and it was, yeah. I mean, it's yeah. There's a lot of like kind of worshiping yourself as an individual, which there is kind of
Yeah.
that level of it. But I think like I don't know, they're angry people. I feel like they're so like anti. There's a lot of
Yeah.
antiness to what they're doing. But I was just in Salem a couple of months ago. I went to
Oh,
the
cool.
actual satanic temple, like the official satanic temple. That was awesome, man. It was super cool. Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet that was
It
cool.
was.
And the big Baphomet statue that's like
Yeah,
double
I've
the size
seen.
of me, man. Yeah, so cool. Like that was like, okay, I could chill with you guys. You guys are cool.
What would you say, like, the out of all of the religious places that you've been to, what was the one that had the most like profound effect on you?
That's an awesome question, man. There's a couple. Like it's tricky. Like weirdly, I went to Easter Island, and that really blew my
Oh yeah.
mind.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
brilliant.
really really cool. But like really, this is such a boring answer. But the Vatican, there's that church in the Vatican that's just
Yeah.
motherfucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What's it called? Some Basilica, Saint Paul Basilica.
Basilica, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've been to the Vatican as well.
yeah, cool, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I
it's
was I
very
was
cool.
so hungover, and I didn't actually want to go. And then when I just walked in, just the sheer size of it and my vulnerability in that moment, I just like, woof, I was almost brought to tears in that place, which was cool. I like that kind of thing. But yeah, there's probably a couple of others. Like I was just at the Grand Canyon, which is kind of, I mean, I guess in a Native American sense, it's quite
Hmm.
holy, and I did definitely get
Yeah.
that vibe there. Trying to think like anything in Asia that really stood out. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I think my problem is, there's a big mountain in Australia called Uluru, which
Yeah.
is like the
The
central.
Red
That's like
Rock.
yeah, yeah, dude. That was amazing. But I hype it so much in my head when I go to these places. I'm like, this is the big spiritual place. I'm gonna have a massive moment. So when I get there, there's no way it can live up to what's in my head. So I ruin it every time, everywhere I go, every temple, everything. I'm like, I'm so amped to like change my life that it can't live up to my own expectations. Yeah, I ruin it.
So, yeah, obviously, as you said, travels. So, what was the importance for London in his new book?
Yeah. Well, I think partially what I've said is just how
Yeah.
it's like very easy entrance point. So instead of like, I could write about some kind of obscure place in like Cambodia or something, but that's going to have very limited scope. But I think also the main reason really is just because I know London very well. I lived in London for 10 years and I'm still kind of coming off and on. I'm here now. So it's just become it just was just yeah for because this book was just something I really wanted to get right. It was like don't mess around, stick to what I know. Like London's easy, man. So yeah, but I do love London. I think London has its own kind of just incredible history and has a lot of like its own religious places. I mean, St. Paul's Cathedral features in the book and
Mm.
places like that. But I'm really annoyed because I did a couple of things in the UK that kind of there was a few areas in Scotland as well. And I just didn't do Stonehenge, and I don't know why. And I remember listening to your guys' podcast and going, "Why didn't I do
Yeah,
Stonehenge? It's not in the
yeah.
book." I was like, "That's such a great place to like kind of put a run," and I just completely didn't mention it. So that's me.
Somewhere to go next.
Yeah, next
Yeah,
time.
that's it. Yeah, there's always another chance.
Cool, man. Yeah. I think we've touched on quite a few things in a short amount of time. But it's
I want to know about you guys. You guys tell me how are you guys spiritually? Are you anti-religion? Are you pro-religion? Are you what's your stories? Do you not give a
Um,
shit?
yeah, I've never really cared, but like I being like when we were together when we went to the Sagrada de Familia in Barcelona, that's
Yeah,
probably like the coolest religious building I've ever seen.
I think that me
Um,
as well, for sure. As
yeah,
far as design goes, that is one of the best, surely the best design church I've ever seen.
yeah, and then like despite not being a religious person, there is a feeling that you get walking around it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the point, man. Like you can appreciate that, and there's no harm done for the most part. I know people I mean, as I say, like I can touch or go. When someone says they hate religion, I'm like, I can understand. There's a lot to hate. There's a lot
Yeah,
of history, a lot of like horrible things. But that really is the minority. The most religious people, irrespective of the religion, are like super cool, and they just found something that works for them. And it's like stuff that's telling them to like do good stuff. Like if a religion was telling you to be an arsehole, even though some people do interpret it that way, but for the most part, it's like it's really a cool, nice, happy thing. Like have something to believe in, and they always have these wicked stories, like these really insane things that happen with these like basically superhero stories. I love it, man. Yeah, I think there's a lot of imagination, and that's why you see it like in like Avengers and all that. They deal with the Nordic gods, and you can see like I feel like it's like yeah, like Marvel's cool and you can go like DC and shit. But if you read back those Hindu gods, that stuff's out of control. And it's also not only like the coolest, most imaginative creatures you've ever seen. These are actually like people like live for this stuff.
Yeah.
Entire countries dedicate their lives to it. It's like this is not Spider-Man, like oh cool, get a comic book. This is like literally people like worship these creatures that are like super powerful and strange. I don't know, man. I think it's next level superhero shit.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, you probably said how I feel about it, to be honest. I think it's just like lots of people interpreting stuff hundreds or maybe thousands of years ago.
Yeah,
they probably didn't understand then. And yeah,
totally.
yeah, it's great. I love the stories of them. Even in like I've read some parts of the Vedas and like the Bhagavad Gita part in there, and
of course,
of course, even some stuff out, obviously the Bible, and just anything. Just open to anything.
I love that. I think that's the way to be, man. I think a lot of people are going that way more. You see it more and more. Like people are, I don't think people like turning their backs on the whole thing necessarily, but things are kind of merging now. The world is so connected that it's hard to be like this person's wrong, so they must die, or they're going to go to the different place when they die. It's like it's really hard to sell that now. I really feel this whole merging thing is happening. A lot of people are kind of they separating like, okay, these are these cool stories that the faith is based on, but there's these kind of teachings that all connect throughout. All of them say very similar stuff. All the prophets kind of said like, just don't be shit, and have some kind of an idea that you're not the greatest thing in the universe. There's probably something greater than you, and that's like basically it. And it's so I'm hoping that more and more we're just going to see people just kind of going. It's like a more of just a Zen space.
Yeah. I hope obviously more people do something like what you've done. Just learn, just look into it, learn, read, and
that's great.
Have their own perspective on it, and not just listen to the next man.
Should follow me, basically.
Yeah,
everyone. That's it.
I honestly believe that everyone should write their own book. That was what I was thinking, because when I wrote mine, like I went into it with a certain perspective and just changed everything. Because the more I looked into it, I had to ask myself questions. I wanted to be thorough, and it came out this other side with a real great understanding of like what I thought. And I don't think that's what everyone else is going to think, but if everyone just did the same exercise I did and kind of really put pen to paper on what they believe in and really ask themselves those questions as if someone else is going to read it, you come out the other side better for it,
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Taking the best bits of all of them surely has got to be the best way forward, rather than
for sure. Yeah, or just take all the worst bits, man. See what you come out with. Go crazy, destroy it all.
Anything could be interpreted into the wrong way. That's the point. Anything.
Sure.
Not even religious scripture. Any book. Any book.
Yeah.
Maybe even TV or something. I don't know. Anyone
could. Happened. Yeah.
Well, I think art, especially
art as well.
There seems to be no right or wrong answers. So whatever anyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. But then you get like Catcher in the Rye, and like people like start shooting up John Lennon and stuff.
Yeah,
this is like, I mean, that's intense. That's intense, man.
Yeah. Go back. We've gone too far.
It's been a while since anything like that.
Apart from the Trump thing.
Yeah.
So get back to obviously the land prophecy. Is there any sequels in the work? Is there any? Think you're looking forward to?
Absolutely, yes. That's when things get dangerous, because I'm going to start. I've kind of mentioned in the book, but there's going to be is kind of like it's this specific woman. She's concentrated to a specific region and specific religion, and as we said, that would be Christianity and UK basically. And so I wanted to kind of do the similar thing for every religion, for different religions and different really specific holy spots, I guess. So yeah, I really want to cover all the major religions. So yeah, that's kind of the idea moving forward, that there's going to be that type of story. But yeah, as we've discussed, it does get into slightly more troubling territory. But I mean, at the same time, it's like I can't be bothered about that so much. Like whatever happens, happens. I gotta just let the creativity. And I think there's got to be a way to like do things in a sensitive manner that people understand what you're saying. But there's, as we all know, there are just specific religions that are a little more. It's touchy about certain topics, so I just got to be careful how I do it. But I've got all the stories in my head. There's going to be 5 more books, and I've got them in my head, and it's all I think about, man. It is all I think about. Yeah,
the
I'm
Jared
super
Woods
worried.
literary universe.
Dude, exactly. And like, yeah, I'm nervous. It's like if it doesn't work out, like I don't know what to do, because I'm literally just going to go balls to the wall with this. I mean, I already spent almost all my money on this one, and like there's no income, so I'm like basically just going to be living in poverty. So like crashing your guys' houses at any point in time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're due to come up to my house, yeah.
Yes, dude.
It's great to see that you've got the passion for it, though. It's lovely. It's really good.
I feel super lucky, man. I feel like I've always kind of had ideas of what I wanted to do, but this has really exploded inside of me. Like, I turn 40 next month, so it's about fucking time, really. But it's enough time. It's enough time to really push it, But yeah, I've always had little things that I've been passionate about, but this has kind of hit a next level for me for sure.
Cool. So I think anything that you put your whole heart and soul into, I mean, if push it, and it will be good.
I hope so, man. Yeah. That's the thing. I would love it if it was good in like a monetary sense as well, though. It'd be great to be able to like afford food and like shelter. But so far, so good. But haven't died yet.
A lot of the time, sometimes like a bit of controversy sorts of intrigues people as well. It's an intriguing bit of controversy, isn't it?
That's the thing. I mean, I gravitate towards that myself. If something's like, don't read this, I'm like, that's the first thing I'm going to read.
You never read any good things in the paper or anything like that. It's like no one's ever writing happy stories. It's always like, this happened. Yeah.
It's such a good point. Yeah. See, even down to just the media level, it's like people are just, it's about freaking people out. And it's about unrest and just like you click the links that are like, oh God, that looks terrible. And that's the link you click, I hate that. I've started to follow a lot of accounts on Instagram that are the opposite. They're all like good news and stuff and like medical breakthroughs and like this puppy had a miracle thing. And I like that to me is like, oh, it's just so refreshing, man. I think we need that stuff. You need both things.
Seeing a cat in a wheelchair.
Balance.
Yeah, no, it's
but it's true. Even to like music, you see a music review and it's like the worst band in the world. It's not. I'm listening.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I totally. That's super fascinating. But there's the only thing that would suck is if you're like, okay, it's like, you're mediocre. Like
no one gives a shit about okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh no, you're all right. Yeah, you guys are all right. It's like, no, I'd rather be so bad that like you listen because it freaks you out or something.
It's true. So, do you tell people where they can get your book from, where they can purchase it?
You're a professional, so thank you. That's like super important, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can find it on Amazon. I mean, I can't really say the URL here, but it's just, if you go to Amazon, type in the Land Prophecy, it'll come up. I mean, I do have a website. It's Jared Woods Saved My Life. So JaredWoods SaveMyLife.com. But it's a mess. It's such a mess. It's hard to navigate.
It's fine. We'll put it in the descriptions there.
Thanks.
We'll send everything out.
Of the podcast.
If you could, yeah. Link to the Amazon would be the best. Like, send them straight to the book. Yeah. Thank you.
We'll share them on our socials as well. We'll get it out there. Don't worry about that.
Thanks, guys. So you guys are legends.
Yeah. No, I just thank you so much for coming on. It's been great speaking to you, man.
No, likewise. Like, what is the next topic? Do you guys give us a sneak preview of the next topic you guys have discussed? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, not too sure yet. I think we've done the first thing of Trump getting shot. You're
Yeah.
trying to get shot. We might have to
The
do the
first
other
one.
one because it was so funny just doing it because we do have fun with it. It's a stupid thing, but we laugh
Yeah.
about it. We see it more as a comedy show the whole
No,
Yeah.
thing.
dude, that's like American, a bit of a summary. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the American
yeah.
politics. I mean, we're not too great ourselves, to be honest. But
no,
like,
of
No.
course.
yeah,
Just any time I think we delve into politics, we just have fun with it because it is to us. It is
anyway.
is a I don't know. It is a show to us. We look.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, it is. And the thing is, I think it's so much, as we were just saying, so much is kind of peddled as like a terror. It's like terrifying too often, the political news. I think if you can if you can approach it from a light-hearted manner, you're going to be, your mental health is going to thank you for it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So
Great.
yeah. As I said, we'll put all your stuff in the links, and again, thank you so much for coming on. And
Thank you
I
guys.
hope you
I
had
fucking
fun.
respect it.
We
Totally.
had
No, this
fun.
was great. This was so nice, man. This is like, I've been drinking a couple of beers. This is socializing for me, and man, this is the author life. I'm pretty much just in this room all the time. So this is like, actually feels like I'm doing something with my night. So I appreciate it.
Brilliant. Yeah,
No worries.
we'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I'd love that.
100%. Yeah, it's been great.
Nice,
I
nice.
really like to talk to you, and until next time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Until next
See you later.
Cheers.